One of the pleasures of teaching in an non-government school is sometimes you come across the very arrogant child who will turn around and tell you that their parents pay your wages, which happened to me in Year 11. A girl turned around and said that my parents pay your wages. She also said it to another teacher, who turned around and said your parents don't pay enough, which sort of shut her up. But it's not an uncommon thing. There is this assumption that because the parents are paying you, you will help their children get through the courses more. So because of that, they feel free to not only ignore the policies of the school, so they want, from your time, they want you to mark a draft, which is reasonable, but then they want you to do 2 or 3 or 4 drafts prior to it. So you end up almost in a tutor situation rather than a teacher situation. And there is this expectation that you will keep doing this. I think they're incredibly naive if that's what if they seriously think that they're getting that. They're not. I would say that in fact the service is poorer that they're receiving. Teachers who, quite frankly, should have left the teaching profession years ago are staying in their positions because A, it's an easier option. They've got their tenure, they've got their position. They're incapable of getting a job anywhere else. They're too lazy to want to go through the performance of having to market themselves and go anywhere else. And besides which, they couldn't get a job even if they were to apply, because they're so limited in terms of how they can apply themselves in their subject that they're not able to step outside. Whereas I think teachers who are in a public sector school, there is that marketability, if you like. There certainly is that flexibility to cater themselves or change themselves, reinvent themselves in order to address the educational needs of the students in a variety of contexts and settings that teachers in non-government schools don't. They can offer almost an enricher life for the students, but the students end up with I would suggest, an unrealistic portrayal of what life is like on the outside of this private sector school, which is presented almost in a bubble. The experience can be seen to be false that they have, and their expectations completely false when you look at their performance in the first year of university. There is a huge dropout rate of students who have been to non-government schools who go to university and expect to receive the same support at a university that they've had in their schooling, don't get it, so flunk, because they're not used to being able to think for themselves. They're very good academically when appropriately supported, whereas students who have been to the government schools, who are far more resilient, they're far more able to cope with making the transition from a school setting to a university setting, and therefore have achieved greater success, and they deserve to.